Gladys Berejiklian has represented her constituents in Sydney, and her exit from Parliament is going to trigger a by-election in Willoughby. Gabriella Power is there for me in Sydney's North Shore. Gab, what is the reaction from constituents there? A bit of shock? What are you picking up?
It's quite incredible just how big Gladys's support base is here. The locals that live around Willoughby are telling me just how sad and disappointed they are to see Gladys go. In fact, we're just out the front of her office where people have been dropping off cards and letters to her office. This is the office that she has in Northbridge that you can see. Those cards and letters have been taken away, but if you just have a look there, flowers have been dropped off. It's not clear if these flowers have been dropped off as a result of her resignation or if they've just been dropped off to her, as many people here believe she's done an incredible job leading New South Wales throughout this pandemic. That is, of course, despite putting Sydney in an extremely long lockdown. We're almost up to 100 days of being under these strict stay-at-home orders, but there's no doubt she's an incredibly popular leader. I was at a press conference just a week ago that she held at Macquarie Fields, and there were people coming up to the sidelines cheering for Gladys, giving her flowers, and so despite this long lockdown, people have a lot of confidence in Gladys and are sad to see her go. Take a listen to some reaction.
I'm very sad, actually, because I think she's just done a brilliant job throughout this pandemic. So, yeah, very, very sad that it's had to come to this.
The reality is we're probably going to have Dominic Perrottet as the Treasurer, as the Premier. And, I mean, people don't really know what's coming now. I mean, he's had a much harder stance, so careful what you wish for, I suppose.
She's a person of integrity, and she represents the people well. We'll be sad to see her go.
My son was really upset.
He upset?
He said that, she was a great leader, and so for him to have a view. Did she do a good job?
Yeah.
Why do you think she did a good job?
Because he made the right decisions about COVID.
I wouldn't like to be in her job, truly. She's had a tough time. I think she was doing a great job, but who knows what goes on behind the scenes,
No, hard to believe. Very sad. I like Gladys.
That is the most disappointing news I've heard all day, because she's done so much for this state and this country.
Oh, I think she's great. Yeah, I think she's done an amazing job, and I think that's really disappointing. But I'm not surprised. I think she's probably had a hell of a time.
Yeah, I think everyone really respects her. She's been such a great pillar of strength through this whole schmozzle, so it's a shame. It's a shame. We'll see who gets the gig next.
Oh, I'm really disappointed. I think she's amazing. Yeah. So, yeah.
What did you like about her?
It's really sensible, and just thought she was amazing.
Interesting with those reactions there, Kieran. It's really hard to find anyone that is going to criticise Gladys Berejiklian. Even children who are walking around with their parents today, speaking to them, they say that they're disappointed and sad to see her go. I suppose seeing her almost every morning at 11 o'clock for most of 2021 and a lot of 2020 as well, people feel like they know her and they have a lot of trust and confidence in her. So that is the reaction so far that we have found here in her electorate of Willoughby. But Gladys says she has no regrets. The hardest part for her is that she won't be able to see New South Wales carry out its roadmap. This was, of course, going to be the first state in Australia that was going to live with COVID in this way, living with an open city and hundreds of cases a day, but with a population where 70 to 80% of people are fully vaccinated. We're just 10 days away from what is supposed to be Freedom Day. Crisis Cabinet was supposed to be meeting today to work out how they're going to change contact tracing. So Gladys says that she's the hardest part for her is that she won't be able to see this out.
My resignation as Premier could not occur at a worse time, but the timing is completely outside of my control, as the ICAC has chosen to take this action during the most challenging weeks of the most challenging times in the state's history. That is the ICAC's prerogative. Resigning at this time is against every instinct in my being and something which I do not want to do. I love my job and I love serving the community, but I have been given no option following the statement that's been issued today.
The Premier of New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian, resigning, of course, after she has become the subject of an ICAC investigation over her secret relationship with Daryl Maguire. And she's the 45th Premier of New South Wales. She says that this that her timing right now her decision to step down couldn't have come at a worse time, rather?
Notwithstanding the challenges of the last few years and few months in particular, I have never felt stronger nor more confident in my leadership. I have absolutely no regrets during my time in public life. At times we all stumble, we pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off and start again stronger and wiser than before. I have done this many times, as we all have. My only regret will be not to be able to finish the job to ensure the people of New South Wales transition to living freely with COVID.
Kieran, this has been brewing for some time, but this has no doubt come as a shock to the people of New South Wales.